Hello, boys and girls. Today's story is The Emperor's New Clothes, and it was first written by Hans Christian Andersen, and this is illustrated by Robert Bird and retold, so there's maybe a little bit of change, by Riki Levinson. The Emperor's New Clothes. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was an emperor who lived in a beautiful palace. He did not care about his soldiers or his many subjects. He cared only about himself. The emperor especially loved his clothes. He paraded through the palace and in the royal courtyard in every new outfit so that all could admire him. He was very vain. Vain means you're worried very much about yourself and what you look like. One day, two strangers came to the town and went directly to the palace gate. "We wish to see the emperor," one of them said to the guards. "Would you kindly take our letter to the emperor's minister?" A guard took their letter to the royal minister. When the minister read the stranger's letter, he hurried to the Lord High Chamberlain. When the chamberlain read it, he hurried to the emperor, for he knew that his royal highness would want to meet those men. The strangers professed to be the most able weavers in the land. They claimed to weave cloth with gold and silver thread of extraordinary beauty and fineness. In fact, their cloth was so fine that it would be invisible to anyone who was stupid or unfit for office. "I must see these weavers," the emperor thought. "I would have clothes even more beautiful than I have now, and I could find out who was dull-witted and truly unfit for office. What a remarkable test this could prove to be." "Bring them here," roared the emperor. "Minister, send for the weavers," ordered the chamberlain. "Guards, send for the weavers," ordered the minister. When the strangers came before the emperor, they described the extraordinary cloth that only they could weave. The emperor listened intently. He believed them. "Magnificent," bellowed the emperor. "Give these fine men whatever they need." "Minister," ordered the chamberlain, "take them to a palace room." "Guards," ordered the minister, "escort these men to their quarters." So everybody gives orders to somebody else. The next day, the weavers bought a big loom and shuttles. They bought small coffers to hold the gold and silver thread, and two large trunks to store the woven cloth. But they did not buy more than a few spools of thread, for the weavers were truly scoundrels. Every day they sat on their loom pretending to weave, and at night, after everyone was asleep, they took out the money that they had not spent and counted it again and again. So scoundrels are thieves. Synonyms: scoundrel and thieves. As the days passed, the emperor wondered what the cloth looked like, so he sent his loyal minister to see the weavers. The minister watched them working at the tiny loom. He stood there, unable to speak. "I do not see any cloth. Can I not see it because I am stupid?" he wondered with horror. The scoundrels saw the shocked expression on the minister's face. Quickly, one of them asked, "Aren't these the most beautiful colors and patterns you've ever seen?" The minister nodded. Of charming color. Quite beautiful," he sputtered, not knowing what else to say. "We will need more money to buy more thread," the other scoundrel said. As the minister hurried back to the emperor, he wondered what he should say. He knew that he could not tell the truth, that he could not see the cloth. "Your Royal Highness," said the minister as he bowed to the emperor. "How does the cloth look?" asked the emperor anxiously. "Is it extraordinarily beautiful?" "Your Highness," answered the minister, "you would not believe what I have just seen." The emperor was pleased. So they are tricking them. There's not really any cloth, and people are afraid to admit it. A week passed. The impatient emperor summoned his chamberlain. "My loyal chamberlain, you know that I trust you," said the emperor. "Go to the weavers and report on their progress. I am anxious to have a new outfit made for the festival." The chamberlain hurried to the weaving room. He saw one scoundrel working feverishly at the empty loom. The other scoundrel was folding the imaginary cloth. "Sire," he said, "feel this cloth. Isn't it the finest, the lightest ever made? The chamberlain was dumbfounded, but he put his hand out as if to touch the cloth. It is so light, one cannot even feel it, he said, not knowing what to say. The scoundrels grinned happily. Sire, said the scoundrel at the loom, we are almost finished weaving. Next week, we will make the emperor's new outfit. It will be ready for the festival. Slowly, the chamberlain went back to the royal room. He could not confess to the emperor that he did not see or feel the cloth, for the emperor would think him stupid and unfit for his high office. The emperor rushed to greet him. And how did you find their work? He asked anxiously. Your Highness, answered the chamberlain, there are no words to describe what I have just seen. The emperor was very pleased. Word spread throughout the town that the weavers would soon have enough cloth for their emperor's new outfit. Crowds of villagers gathered below the windows of the weaving room. They watched the weavers moving about quickly, but they could not see the cloth. They're putting on a show because they know people are watching them. Part of their plan to trick everybody. On the morning of the festival day, the chamberlain and the minister waited with the emperor in the royal dressing room. The weavers entered the room with their arms stretched out in front of them as if they were holding the imaginary clothes. The emperor stared at them. His face reddened, his eyes bulged, but he did not say a word. The weavers placed the imaginary new clothes carefully on the table. Then they turned and bowed to the emperor. So the emperor has a choice. Will he admit what he sees, or will he pretend that he sees them? The stunned emperor stood still, could not speak. My loyal chamberlain and wise minister have seen this extraordinary cloth. How can I say that I cannot? The foolish emperor thought. Your Highness, one scoundrel said, would you kindly undress so that we may fit your new outfit? The emperor, very upset, rushed behind the screen and took off his clothes. First the pantaloons, the other scoundrel said. He took a piece from the imaginary pile of clothes and passed it to the emperor. Then he waited a moment and asked, tell me, your royal highness, don't those pantaloons feel as light as a feather? Extraordinary, the emperor lied. And now the shirt, said the other scoundrel, passing another piece of imaginary clothing to the emperor. Doesn't this too fit well? Ah, yes, the emperor answered. Then he came out from behind the screen. The emperor looked at the chamberlain and the minister, and they nodded to him as if approvingly. The scoundrels hugged each other gleefully. Gleefully, look at them. Are they happy or are they sad? Gleefully means happy. They're very happy to be getting away with this. And here's your beautiful coat edged with gold and silver thread. Come to the mirror and let us help you put it on, said one of the scoundrels. They helped the emperor put on his imaginary coat. Isn't it as fine as we promised? Asked one of the scoundrels. Ah, yes, the emperor answered. He turned this way and that way in front of the mirror, as if admiring the coat. It is extraordinarily beautiful. And now for our greatest achievement, your robe, said the other scoundrel. See the diamond pattern from collar to hem? Magnificent, is it not? He asked the chamberlain and the minister. The chamberlain nodded, not knowing what to say. Minister, we are ready. We are ready, said the minister. Let the procession begin, bellowed the emperor. They left the royal quarters and went down the palace steps into the courtyard. Trumpets blared. Royal guards held a velvet canopy over the emperor as he led the procession. The chamberlain followed, holding the train of the emperor's imaginary robe. The minister followed the chamberlain. And then came the scoundrels, for the emperor wanted all to see the master weavers who had made his new outfit. Crowds of villagers pressed forward to see their emperor. My villagers are not their usual noisy selves, the emperor thought, wondering why they were so quiet. Ah, it must be because they have never seen me wearing such extraordinarily beautiful clothes before. The emperor stopped before his loyal subjects. Why are they all really quiet? Suddenly, a little one pushed forward between an elder villager's legs. The emperor is naked, the little one said. Be quiet, child, warned a villager. Quiet, hissed a guard. But he's not wearing anything, the little one said truthfully. The villagers nodded and whispered to one another. Our emperor is naked, they said. Onward, roared the emperor. Let all the villagers see our royal person. Minister, let us continue, the chamberlain ordered. Forward, guards, ordered the minister. The royal procession moved on through the town. The vain and foolish emperor was held his head proudly, and waved to everyone as he passed by. So because he was so vain and wouldn't admit that he was wrong, he walked through the village naked. So that is the story, The Emperor's New Clothes. I hope you enjoyed the story. See you next time.